Exactly.
I don't understand. All right, so this is the Fed employment rate chart. And what they've done is they've circled.
Yeah.
Something just dawned on me here. Okay, so they circled all the drops, the lowest points in unemployment. Okay. Now, typically speaking, unemployment, as we know, will peak after we get into the cycle that we're in currently, right?
Okay.
A rate cutting cycle. So if you look at this chart, you've seen it peak after every single time they've cut rates.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there are two notable large places they've done this, and this is where we've seen the recessions. They've coincided with the recession, so think 2007, think 2001. But look at the peak in 2020 during the pandemic. Let's just remove that far right visceral line straight up.
Yeah.
And let's level it out, because that was kind of an artificially created. I don't like the 2020 pandemic era being a recession.
Yeah, you can't really use that because that was so I don't know, like once in a lifetime.
It was manufactured.
Right.
So it's peaks and valleys, right? Unemployment goes up, unemployment goes down. If you remove that weird anomaly, you know unemployment's going to spike up. That's what this chart is telling you.
Yeah, it has to. Yeah.
This chart is telling you it's bottomed out. It has to go back up.
Yeah, it's definitely
There is no other place for it to go. And if it goes up even half the level of where it's gone historically, you are in a recession. So I don't want anybody to go like, oh, Chris, we're in there's rainbows and gumdrops and lollipops outside, and there's butterflies and unicorns, and Haroon is working out, and we're in this perfect harmony.
Yeah.
Right? No. A soft landing, by the way, does not necessarily mean anything. It's an artificially created language to describe a very comfortable return to normal.
The same way these positive GDP prints, the same way the employment data that's been coming out, the same way that all this positive data has been coming out, it's basically painting a picture that we should all be swimming in gold right now.
Except for the fact that Jerome Powell himself today, at his own meeting, said, well, about those employment numbers, yeah, those are not accurate. No, those aren't. No,
we gathered that information incorrectly.
We feel like it's misrepresenting the current market. Well, really, where the fuck was that the last 15 meetings you had?
Right, and
affordable housing, yeah, that's a problem. It's just not our problem.
Yeah.
That's funny. What about the data? Well, the data's really laggy. It lags a lot, so we don't think that it's reflective of the market. Where the fuck was that the last 15 meetings?
Yeah.
So if the housing affordability issue is not being accurately reported, if the unemployment issue is not being accurately reported, and you felt that 25 basis points was not enough to stop whatever's coming next, and 50 basis points, in addition to an additional 50 basis points, a full 1% correction before year end, in a matter of possibly 3 months is necessary, then you're basically telling us, hold on tight, America, because you're going to get kicked right in the ding-ding with whatever comes next.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think where mortgage rates dip down, to that 6.625, where they are now, that people are, kind of excited for what's to come in the future. I think what had been baked in was a 25 basis point cut.
Yeah.
So it's remains to be seen what happens with this 50 basis point, and it also remains to be seen what happens in November and December and what that actually does to the 10-year Treasury. But I know a lot of people are online are worried that, if rates do come down, our home price is only going to go north from here. And I think there's more factors at play here than just mortgage rates, right? That's not the only thing that if more people come online. It has to do with what's going on locally, in your neighborhood or your region, okay? It definitely matters what's going on with the economy and what's going on with things like unemployment. If people have jobs, if people don't have jobs, right? Are there going to be enough people coming out to put upward pressure on that? What's going on with the supply? What's going on with new construction?
All right. Okay, Sweet Cheeks. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Can you go to the Kabisi letter for me? This is my real-time proxy. This is Chris's secret sauce to what's really going on.
Are you even going to acknowledge the alley-oop? I mean, what's going on here?
I am. I was going to give it to you with the convert. You can't demand for me to point at you while I'm dunking.
I want you to dunk and point at the same time.
You can't do it at the same time. I don't have that kind of coordination.
You got to catch it and point. Like, I got you.
Haroon, how do you deal with this in the drive over every night?
We don't talk.
Ah, that makes sense.
Yeah, we just sit there in silence.
You guys play like nature sounds, maybe some lo-fi, something in the background?
He listens to a Chargers podcast on the way over here.
Wait, I'm sorry. You listen to a podcast on the way over here that's not your own?
Yeah.
Well, he's getting tips on how to grow using, seeing what they do.
I don't feel like a Chargers podcast is our demographic.
So it could be.
No. You don't listen to any financial podcasts at all?
He's got this one. What else? He doesn't need to listen to any other one.
He doesn't listen to this
He
one.
doesn't listen to this.
Yeah. I mean,
He listens to this one.
That's Saied giving me an alley-oop and me
here.
recognizing the alley-oop. He just called me out for not doing that. I had to take it. I didn't want to, Haroon. He made me do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Terrible person. That's why you're the villain, bro.
I am the villain.
Set you up and me up. We got played.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
True player for real.
That I'm not sorry. Okay, this, according to the Kobisi letter, the number of full-time real estate agents and brokers in the U.S. dropped to 440,000 in 2023, the least since 2014. The real estate agents count fell 72,000 year over year, or 14%, marking the largest drop since 2008. That time sounds familiar. Could that be the great financial crisis, maybe?
That's got to be a sign, right?
That's got to be a sign of the times. The number of members in the National Association of Realtors is now down 100,000 since 2022 to approximately 1.5 million. In July, pending home sales plummeted to their lowest level on record. Let that sink in. Even below the 2020 pandemic levels when the housing market halted. Okay, I'm gonna say this again, okay, because I think this is important. Just to be clear, housing has gotten so unaffordable, and rates just a slight bit higher than where they are today, made that so difficult to happen that we got to the lowest level of home sales on record. Even worse than when people physically couldn't leave their home to go look at a house because they were locked into the pandemic.
Wild.
That's how bad it's gotten out there. But people are like, hey, man, it's going to be amazing for real estate, supply and demand. It's going to go up from here, bro.
Just driving home the last like 2 weeks or so, I'm seeing a lot of open house signs on the weekends now. It's real. I feel like a lot of homes
I've seen a lot.
Are trying to come online and try to capitalize because maybe they think like this is where we cap out.